We would like also now to invite our co-organizer from Sarawak, Mr. Sidi Munan, to come on stage to say a few words. Thank you, sir.
In 1962, I was president of the Borneo University Students Association in Wellington. Suddenly, we had visitors from Asia, Lee Kuan Yew, Goh Keng Swee, and what's the name, the next governor. Lee Kuan Yew was campaigning among the university students that Malaysia was a good thing for you. The students then opposed Malaysia. But when Malaysia came into being, we were the first to celebrate. Herman Luping, I don't know where Herman got a bottle of whiskey. I mention this because these are all my friends before. These are Borneo students in overseas. Herman Luping, Chong Tian Von, Kong, Saleh Saulong, Zulkifli, Saleh Sultan, and what's the name, Lim Guan Seng, they're all there. I told you, because we oppose Malaysia. Why? Oh, takut nanti orang Malaya semua ambil kita punya pekerjaan. We were so scared when we go back, all the jobs will be taken over by the Malayans and the Singaporeans. So Lee Kuan Yew said, no, don't worry. Don't worry, we will have something for you in Borneo. I think later on when Kabul Commission came, it was known as Borneoization. In 1985, I also attended a seminar here. And I stayed in a Jesselton Hotel. Di sana ada itu mosquito nets. Yes, mosquito nets. And ladies and gentlemen, oh dulu Tan Sri, Dato', ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Sarawak initiatives, I wish to welcome all of you, participants from Sarawak, a contingent of about 50 people or something like that. We overwhelmed Sabahan. I hope they will find this discussion on the various subjects worth your time and effort to come. A very important gathering. Professor James Chin calls this assembly of people. Sounds like, assembly of... I also wish to express sincere gratitude and appreciation of the Executive Committee of TSI, to the Symposium, to the organizers, to the paper presenters, and to Sabah. Sabah, sudah tunggu Sabah 60 tahun masa Sabah. For their cooperation to making this meeting in KK possible. To Sabah leaders, terima kasih daun belimbing. Selepas ini kita jumpa di Kuching. And now, glancing at history. 61 years ago, the Legislative Council of North Borneo and the Council Degree of Sarawak respectively passed a resolution approving in principle of the formation of a new federation consisting of Malaya, Singapore, North Borneo, and Sarawak, subject to certain safeguards for the special interests of each of the Borneo states. The Kabul Commission had recommended that both North Borneo and Sarawak join the federation. However, while presenting his report, the Commission's chairman, Lord Coble, saw it fit. Why did he see it fit? To stress a point, a proviso of sorts. I quote, Lord Coble said, "It is a necessary condition that from the outset, that Malaysia should be regarded by all concerned as an association of partners, combining in the common interest to create a new nation by retaining their own individualities. If any idea were to take root that Malaysia would involve a takeover of the Borneo territories by the Federation of Malaya and the submission of the individualities of North Borneo and Sarawak, Malaysia would not, in my judgment, be generally acceptable or successful," unquote. The chairman added, "I recommend that in the forthcoming negotiations, government should pay close attention to this point, both in the psychological and in its practical aspects," unquote. 6 years later, Malaysia was born during the period, and we are all rightful owners, rightful stakeholders and beneficiaries. And as such, as beneficiaries, I think we have the right to ask and find out if any of the individualities which Lord Coble was talking about have been submerged to the detriment of their stake in Malaysia. Submission of individualities. What about the erosion of the special constitutional provisions for which Sabah and Sarawak, in terms of education, in terms of citizenship, federal legislature, and distribution of legislative powers, local government, public service, Bonoization? What about those? Special position of the indigenous races, to name just a few. For the past 2 decades, I have noted that our young people are becoming restless, especially over the ownership of natural resources found offshore and inshore within the boundaries of their respective states. They have been very vocal about this. They have been vocal about restoring these rights and interests. Let us hear all this today. Be frank about it. See if you can. See if we can do something. In medical term, they say scan. Can you scan whether there are any blockages in the artery of the relationship between them? I say this because Malaysia is actually a highly centralized form of government, of federation. A quasi-federation or interdependent federation, to quote the late Attorney General of Sarawak, Jamhuri Sarjan, in his article in the book called The Constitution of Malaysia, Essays in Honor of Tun Sofyan, on Singapore 1980. In a federation of this type, it is natural for the central government to assume full control of the affairs of the federation, often at times at the expense of the states. But the states must act It's up to the states themselves. Having done the scan, then we find out what to do next. Now, Malaysia is an established fact. It is incumbent upon us, I think, as its citizens, to sustain the viability and growth of the nation. And as stakeholder, it is our responsibility, so stakeholders, within the next 60 years, what do? We must build Malaysia as a great nation, a cultural, multicultural nation, in which the citizens will be happy and prosperous. We Sarawakans, I call Sarawakan, Sarawakans, can help achieve, and this is important, we can help achieve this status if we are given the position of responsibility and trust to the management, in the management of the affairs of the country. And if we are being treated, and if we are being treated fairly in terms of our rights and interests, we must reaffirm our forefathers' vision of a secular, progressive, and plural Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, these are my views. Now, let's have an open, stimulating discussion. Thank you.